Lord asked Moses, how long will these people refuse to obey my commands and instructions? The striving in your life will cease and you would operate from a place of rest. When it comes to God's rhythm, it is your responsibility to get in sync with him. It is not his responsibility to get in sync with you. God says that's going to lead to a breakdown. I didn't create you that way. You better pause and know that I am God and you are not. There has to be a Sabbath. I started an impromptu series on rest today, and I am believing that you are about to enter into a season of rest. That the striving in your life will cease and you would operate from a place of rest. And we're going to look at Exodus 16, 1 through 5, and then 22 through 30. It says, then the whole community of Israel set out from Elim and journeyed into the wilderness of Sin, between Elim and Mount Sinai. They arrived there on the 15th day of the second month, 1 month after leaving the land of Egypt. That is critical to know. They are 30 days from the moment that God split the Red Sea and had them walk out of chains into freedom. You would think they would be shouting and doing the Holy Ghost two-step. But verse 2 says, there too, the whole community of Israel complained about Moses and Aaron. You complained when you were in slavery. God set you free. And you still complain? Have you noticed some people don't need a reason to complain? They just need a location. I'm just saying, if it's me, and you complain in slavery and I set you free and you still complaining, I'm raining down fire from heaven. But thank God he is gracious. He didn't rain down fire. Ooh, what did he rain down? He rained down food from heaven. Each day the people can go out and pick up as much food as they need for that day. I will test them in this to see whether or not they will follow my instructions. On the sixth day, they will gather food, and when they prepare it, there will be twice as much as usual on the sixth day. Verse 22. On the sixth day, they gathered twice as much as usual, 4 quarts for each person instead of 2. Then all the leaders of the community came and asked Moses for an explanation. Why do we get double on the sixth day? They're trying to figure it out. He told them, this is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow will be a day of complete rest, a holy Sabbath day set apart for the Lord. So bake or boil as much as you want today and set aside what is left for tomorrow. So they put some aside until morning, just as Moses had commanded. And in the morning, the leftover food was wholesome and good, without maggots or odor. Moses said, eat this food today, for today is a Sabbath day dedicated to the Lord. There will be no food on the ground today. You may gather food for 6 days, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. There will be no food on the ground that day. Verse 27, some of the people went out anyway. You ever met that person that's gonna do it? Anyway, they just gonna date them. They're gonna respond to that DM. Yeah, they went out anyway on the 7th day, but they found no food. The Lord asked Moses, how long will these people refuse to obey my commands and instructions? They must realize that the Sabbath is the Lord's gift to you. That is why he gives you a 2-day supply on the 6th day, so there will be enough for 2 days. On the Sabbath day, you must each stay in your place. Do not go out to pick up food on the 7th day. So the people did not gather any food on the 7th day. Has anybody been to a wedding lately? I personally love weddings. I think weddings are amazing. Weddings are beautiful. Weddings are holy. And I get the opportunity not just to attend weddings, but I get to officiate weddings as well. And I have to let you know, I look for certain things at weddings. I look for a look. And it is the look whenever they open the doors and the bride starts coming down the aisle, and naturally everybody stands up and they look at the bride. I don't look at the bride. I look at the groom who's right there next to me. And I look at the look on his face when he sees his bride coming down the aisle. It is an amazing look. It's amazing to see how each step she takes, his bottom lip starts quivering and tears start cascading down his face as she gets closer. And then I get this look. It's the look she has when she sees him looking at her. Y'all, it's a magical moment. There's something I look for at the reception. Please don't judge me. But I look for the person on the dance floor who has no business being on the dance floor. And they're completely offbeat, and I laugh, but I actually got some knowledge that helps me have empathy. I still laugh, but I have empathy because I understand that people who are offbeat, the problem is actually not musical, it's neurological. It's interesting that dancing doesn't start on your feet, it starts in your brain. The reason they're offbeat is because their mind does not have the ability to take in the music and then make their body make the necessary movements to be in sync and synergy with the beat. See, rhythm is interesting because the people that have rhythm and the people that don't, there's only one factor. They're hearing the same music, they're on the same dance floor, but people that have rhythm understand something about time. The brain, the body, the beat come together at the right time. I went through all that to let you know today, please don't miss this, that God has a rhythm. God has a tempo. God has a pace. God has a cadence. Hear me, that he wove in the fabric of creation. And still today, he is trying to get humanity to get in sync with his time, with his rhythm. Are you in sync with God or are you offbeat? Your life, is it offbeat? Now, before you answer that question, when it comes to God's rhythm, it is your responsibility to get in sync with him. It is not his responsibility to get in sync with you. You say, well, Robert, I have this plan and I have these visions and I have this goal and I have this vision board and I want to be here in 10 years. You can have all that, but I'm just saying, don't get mad at God if that doesn't come to pass, as if you are a producer and you produce the song and now you need God to hurry up and fulfill it. Because I hear some of you, you're like, God, what is wrong? Why can't you get in rhythm with me? I told you I needed this much money at this age and this stage of my life. And God's going, I'm not supposed to get in sync with you. I know you're producing things, but you're just a producer. You understand God is not a producer, he's a creator. And when you are a creator, you get to pick the cadence. And God put a cadence in creation. If you don't believe me, read the book of Genesis, and you will see a God that created something out of nothing. And everything that he created, he spoke it into existence. And it had to respond to his word and get in sync and get in rhythm. He said, let there be water. And water showed up. And water didn't even pause to go, what hue of blue do you want me to be? Water already knew what hue of blue it was supposed to be. Because when God speaks something, it has to get in sync and in rhythm and come together at the right time. And I'm telling you, God has a rhythm, and it's in the book of Genesis, because I don't just read Genesis, I hear Genesis. Here's the rhythm of God. It goes just like this. It was 6 followed by a, because your God created the world in 6 days and then pauses to rest on the 7th day. And the moment he did that, he set a tempo of creation that there should be 6 days of work and 1 day to pause, 1 day to stop, 1 day to cease from your work. This is the rhythm of God. See, it's that gives the next power. If you don't ever and you just, that's techno, and you're gonna lose your mind. And that's what some of your lives look like right now, because you have this incessant going and going, and God says that's gonna lead to a breakdown. I didn't create you that way. You better pause and know that I am God and you are not. There has to be a Sabbath.